Early bird shreds the berms. Whoa. That was a good push. That was a good push.
Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name's Toby and I'm stoked you're here. I'm bringing you a banger today with what I'm titling my XC SHREDuro. If you're feeling generous, do the like and subscribe thing. If not, stick around and comment below on how silly this video is. Either one's gonna work. I'm just glad you're here. So what the heck is an XC SHREDuro? Ever since the invention of the internet, mountain bikers have been viciously arguing in pink bike comment sections about travel, geo, gear, all that. Well, today is the day that I add to that flaming dumpster fire of comment sections. I recently did a local enduro race. Those videos are located somewhere up here. And after the race, I couldn't help but think to myself, could I do these courses on my down country bike? Now, yes, I'm with you on how lame that phrase is, but however you feel about the genre, the bikes are amazing. Could I do these same courses on my slacked out but very capable XC bike, and how would my times compare? What made this cool is that the race had 4 stages and each one got progressively rougher than the last one, giving a wide variety of trail to compare against, and I thought this would actually be an excellent test. Secondly, I was out there for roughly 4 hours on race day, so my second challenge is how fast could I do the entire course start to finish. So with this, I'm comparing both my race runs and seeing how fast I can do it, hence XC SHREDuro. The goal here is to still help me understand how much the bike can make a difference. In order to do this, I'm going to be using Strava segment times on both my race runs and my solo XC. I know that's not 100% accurate, but I'm comparing myself to myself using the same device. It's the best that I've got. Race day is race day for a reason. I 100% get that, but this is a fun test to do. Let's get into the bike comparison real fast. So on the left side, I've got my enduro bike, which is a Foes mixer, and then on the right side, my XC, or down country bike, if you will. On an enduro bike, you're gonna be able to just absolutely charge into things. This thing is so confidence inspiring. It eats up rough stuff. It loves GIs. I mean, the mixer is just an absolute beast of a machine. I've done a video on it recently. If you're interested in more, go ahead and check that out. Now on the right side of things, you can see my Carbonda FM936, a pretty non-traditional bike. I'm gonna be doing a review on it, or just know it is awesome. And so I mean, we're going from 155 millimeter travel to 115, a 160 fork down to a 130. The Carbonda is a full 29er. It's sub 30 pounds. The downside of a down country bike, in my opinion, is that once it gets rough, it's quickly overwhelmed. That could just be this bike, not totally sure, but you do lose a little bit of confidence because it does start getting bucked around pretty quick. These are the two bikes. Let's see how they do.
Stage 1 done.
All right, well that was stage 1, and go ahead and let's check it out. First of all, to point out the follow me guys, the Sakani to Ezzy side climb, I got that in 1749. Apparently that is 3rd overall on Strava. That's pretty cool. I'm starting out my XC portion of the XC SHREDuro pretty well. When it comes to Wiggler is going to be sort of a traverse, a very pedally section, and I took 4 seconds off my entire time there. That's pretty impressive. To go, I mean, that speaks to the XC nature of that bike. Whereas then we get into the yard sale portion, which is that Venta de Garage, and it's looking like the mixer actually corners a little bit better, or maybe I was just cornering faster that day. I don't know, but I lost a second there. Overall, start to finish, I took 2 seconds off my time, which is not insubstantial. I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I would have guessed the little bike would have done the best on stage 1, and so it took 2 seconds off. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, well, let's go check out stage 2.
Okay. Here we go.
Big buffed out stage, and it's got a lot of smooth big berms. I think that the little bike is gonna really, I thought before getting into this the little bike would really compress into those berms and I'd kind of have a hard time keeping it straight. And then about halfway down Master Blaster, it does get a little bit rocky and dicey, so I was kind of wondering how I was going to end up doing there. But looking at my times, is what ended up happening is that the Master to Canyon Blaster, I was about a second behind my race pace there. So Master, Canyon, and then RCDC, those are roughly the same 2 courses. And then down Scared Cat, I took off a second with my XC time, but is where it really came into play was there's a pedally section between Canyon Blaster and then that Scared Cat. I took 5 seconds off that section, and so for like 30 seconds, like 30 to 40 second stage, I freaking did 5 seconds of work there. That's pretty impressive. I mean, that really does speak to either one, I wasn't pedaling super hard, I really struggled with this stage on race day, and then or 2, how very, very capable that cross country bike is. So I don't know. Hey, look, we're now a total of 6 seconds out in front of race pace. So hey, that's kind of cool, isn't it? So let's go check out stage 3.
Top of stage 3. Everything's going good. This is the one I'm nervous about though, because I am taking the hot gates. We'll see how the little bike does.
stage 3 is where things start falling apart. Now the climb from the bottom of stage 2 up to the top, Ezzy climb, I did that in 11:57, which it turns out is a new PR. That was I was putting the hurt on, right? Kind of trying to keep that XC part of the SHREDuro alive. When it came down to McPoopy Pants, which who in the world is naming these stupid things? So that's going to be the top half of Pop Rocks getting into Penny Lane, and it looks like I lost 2 seconds there. This was the stage I thought I was really going to start seeing the little bike get overwhelmed, because it is going to be pretty rocky and high speed. So 2 things that are really going to start kind of overwhelming that little bike. However, Bev's Highway at the bottom, I was really thinking I was going to make up a lot of time, and according to this, I didn't. Now, what could that be from? And I think is what that is I'm 3 climbs in, over an hour into this thing, and just absolutely smoked. And so I got to the bottom there, and I think I was just running out of gas. I took better line selection. I thought I was pedaling harder. I thought I was smarter with my race run, but no, I didn't end up taking any time off. So that's kind of interesting. Now, stage 3 overall is down at the bottom. There is an edit on my race pace. Strava has this thing, if you hang out, like let's say you stop at the top near the start of a segment, it'll actually start counting towards your time. And so I just went ahead and actually found out where I started moving and clipped that. Stage 3, I ended up having a total of 9 seconds faster with race pace. That's actually not really all that surprising, considering there was the hot gates and things like that in this stage. Something that the little bike can get very overwhelmed on. Now you're starting to see where the big bike, the suspension, the confidence, all of that really starts coming into play. The hard part is, up next we've got stage 4, which is the roughest and the most committing portion of the entire race. So let's see how the little bike does there. Here's where get my freaking teeth rattle out. Down there. Airport escalator I got in 12:04, which is a new PR, and that was hurting. Like I said, you know, like I really was trying to do this thing as fast as possible. This was keeping in with that spirit. The 2 segments that aren't the full pull, an upper decker and shit talker. Who in the world is coming up with these stage names? Like, this is just so silly. I was anticipating this being sort of the where the little bike would really slow down, and boy oh boy does it see it. So once again, I had to do a little bit of modification to the Strava times, so that upper decker, that's kind of the upper half of Deep Thought, and I was 8 seconds behind there. Holy moly. You know, I think this is all the climbing, all the pushing it up to this point, I think it's really adding up. And then my overall deep thought time difference was I was 18 seconds slower on the little bike. So that's a huge difference. And I think that speaks loads to the type of bike you want to choose for a race like this. Anyway, that little bike, my hands were hurting, my legs were blown up, my back was kind of hurting. I mean, when you have a little bike like that, all the impacts go right into your feet or your arms so much more, and so that was really starting to show here. I mean, I'm a hour 25 into it at this point, and I've been pushing it hard. This stage hurt. The other thing is that I was not confident in hitting the step up at the bottom here, so I definitely lost 4 or 5 seconds there. That little bike just tends to not be confidence inspiring on those big G outs and stuff like that, and that step up is definitely that G out. I'm 18 seconds off the back. I'm having fun. I made 4 clean runs. I didn't crash, and so things are looking pretty good. But let's go check out all the standings. The end result is I am 21 seconds slower on my XC SHREDuro than I was on race day, and that is for 4 stages. That's huge. That is a lot of time. Now, if we look at the overall, moving time, it took me 1 hour 36. I was moving for 1 hour 22 of that. I ran into some people I knew up there, had a good time chatting with them for a few minutes. So I could have taken that down a little bit. Not that would have been a big deal, but anyway, I think the first thing to talk about, somebody else should try this. It was pretty fun. The other thing to point out is that as those stages got rougher, as my fatigue set in, I got slower and slower and slower, and you can just clearly see that on that table. It's pretty cool. I did introduce 2 variables, the first one being how fast could I do it on a little bike, and the second one being how fast could I do the overall. I think that second one did play a huge role into actually slowing down my stages. That was my goal, as to how fast could I do it overall, and slowing down the stages was kind of inevitable. So maybe that did, I don't know. It was fun, and so I think the thing to take away from this is I absolutely chose the right bike on race day. I could move a lot quicker overall on the little bike, but geez Louise, 21 seconds is a huge gap. With that being said, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging with me. It's been a blast. I hope to see you on the trail and get out and ride.